Chapter 77. It was 6 o'clock before I got to sleep, and even then I woke up several times. At last, at 11, I decided to face the day. I went to the bedroom door. Jojo had gone. I looked in the kitchen that was also a bathroom. There, scrawled on the mirror with a bit of soap, were 3 X's, a goodbye, and her name. As casually as she had slipped into my life, she had slipped out of it. On the kitchen table lay my car pump. The sewing machines hummed dimly up from the floor below, women's voices, the sound of stale music from her radio. I was the solitary man upstairs, waiting, always waiting. I leaned against the old wooden draining board, drinking Nescafe and eating damp biscuits. As usual, I had forgotten to buy any bread. I stared at the side of an empty cereal packet. On it, a nauseatingly happy, average family were shown around a breakfast table. Breezy, tanned father, attractive, girlish mother, small boy, small girl, dreamland. Metaphorically, I spat. Yet there must be some reality behind it all, some craving for order, harmony, beyond all the shabby cowardice of wanting to be like everyone else. The selfish need to have one's laundry looked after, buttons sewn on, ruts served, name-propagated, meals decently cooked. I made another cup of coffee and cursed Allison, the bloody bitch. Why should I wait for her? Why, of all places, in London, a city with more eager girls per acre than any other in Europe, prettier girls, droves of restless girls who came to London to be stolen, stripped, to wake up one morning in a stranger's bed. Then Jojo, the last person in the world I had wanted to hurt. It was as if I'd kicked a starving mongrel in its poor thin ribs. A violent reaction set on me, born of self-disgust and resentment. All my life I had been a sturdy contrasuggestible. Now I was soft, remoter from freedom than I had ever been. I thought with a leap of excitement of life without Allison, of setting out into the blue again, alone but free, even noble, since I was condemned to inflict pain, whatever I did, to America, perhaps to South America. Freedom was making some abrupt choice and acting on it, was as it had been at Oxford, allowing one's instinct come will to fling one off at a tangent, solitary, into a new situation. I had to have hazard. I had to break out of this waiting room I was in. I walked through the uninspiring rooms. The beau chinoiserie plate hung over the mantelpiece. The family again, order and involvement, imprisonment. Outside, rain, a gray, scudding sky. I stared down Charlotte Street and decided to leave Kemp's at once, that day, to prove to myself that I could move, I could cope. I was free. I went down to see Kemp. She took my announcement coldly. I wondered if she knew about Jojo, because I could see a stony glint of contempt in her eyes as she shrugged off my excuse, that I had decided to rent a cottage in the country. I was going to write. You taking Jojo, are you? No. We're bringing it to an end. You're bringing it to an end. She knew about Jojo. All right, I'm bringing it to an end. Tired of slumming? Thought you would be. Think again. You pick up a poor little scab like that, God only knows why, then, when you're sure she's head over fucking heels in love with you, you act like a real gentleman. You kick her out. Look, don't kid me, laddie. She sat square and inexorable. Go on, run back home. I haven't got a bloody home, for Christ's sake. Oh, yes, you have. They call it the bourgeoisie. Spare me that. Seen it 1,000 times. You discover we're human beings. Makes you shit with fright. With an insufferable dismissiveness, she added, It's not your fault. You're a victim of the dialectical process. And you're the most impossible old... Gah! She turned away as if she didn't care a damn anyway. as if life was like her studio, full of failures, full of mess and disorder, and it took her all her energy to survive in it herself. A Mother Courage gone sour. She went to her paints table and started fiddling. I went out, but I had hardly got to the top of the stairs to the ground floor when she came out and bawled up at me. "Let me tell you something, you smug bastard." I turned. "You know what will happen to that poor damn kid? She'll go on the game, and you know who'll have put her there." Her outstretched finger seared its accusation at me. "Mr. St. Nicholas Orff, Esquire." That last word seemed the worst obscenity I had heard pass her lips. Her eyes scalded me. Then she went back and slammed the studio door. So there I was, between the Scylla of Lily de Saetas and the Charybdis of Kemp, bound to be sucked down. I packed in a cold rage and lost in a fantasy row with Kemp, in which I scored all the points. I lifted the bow plate carelessly off its nail. It slipped, struck the edge of the gas fire, and a moment later I was staring down at it in the hearth, broken in two across the middle. I knelt. I was so near tears that I had to bite my lips savagely hard. I knelt there holding the two pieces, not even trying to fit them together, not even moving when I heard Kemp's footsteps on the stairs. She came in and I was kneeling there. I don't know what she had come up to say, but when she saw my face, she did not say it. I raised the two pieces a little to show her what had happened. My life, my past, my future. Not all the king's horses and all the king's men. She was silent for a long moment, taking it in. The half-packed case, the mess of books and papers on the table, the smug bastard, the broken butcher, on his knees by the hearth. She said, "Jesus Christ, at your age." So I stayed with Kemp.